Hey everyone. Hi, beautiful people. It's a beautiful day again. So, we are at it
Roger,
again.
Rogers,
Today, I would like you to welcome you back to our
Rogers, come.
channel. If you've not
Equolia.
subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. We love you guys. So, today we are actually having a fun and necessary task. We actually have to wash the dogs. So, we are washing our two German Shepherds, that is the
Come.
female and the male. Of course, they are
Jenny.
breeders, Jenny and Rogers. As you can see, we've already, of course, we are trying to set up. Then I actually wanted first, I've just mixed their food. So I wanted to give them a bit of food. So I've just mixed it. So let's give them a minute. Well, I think they're not very hungry. Right? Anyway, let's dive just right in. But it's actually just time to give them a
Rogers,
squeaky,
come.
nice clean so that they are clean. So one thing before you can actually begin to wash your dogs, it is very important to make sure that all your supplies are in handy: your shampoo, your water, your brush, and of course some nice treats afterwards. That's the reason why I actually wanted to be able to prepare the food. I'd actually just gotten from the supermarket, from the a bit from the supermarket, and the other actually from the shop where we actually buy the
Rogers,
dog food,
Rogers,
so
come.
that we'd actually be able to mix them that for a balanced diet, right? Sometimes you actually get meat from the butchery, but in this particular case, that is during the evening meal. They actually take a bit of protein, right? So
Yeah,
one thing
yeah.
that you don't never forget when it comes to washing the dogs is a bit of patience.
We are one
Patience is
Sunday.
key, right? So Rogers is right here. So, and Jenny, of course. So it's actually important to make bath time a positive experience for you and your furry friends, right? Rogers and Jenny here. Lots of praise, treat them, rub them. Actually, just make sure that you keep them calm and so that they are able to actually cooperate. Yes, you can actually see to some extent Jenny seems a bit unsure, but that's okay anyway. That's part of it. So every dog has their own comfort levels, so you actually have to be very careful. I've actually noticed when, for example, the guy who takes care of them is actually washing them, they are a bit tense, and sometimes actually have to he has to take them to the river, right? Yes, just for the swim and all. But just make sure that it's slow and steady so that you, of course, don't make them too uncomfortable or it's not too rough for them. And then, like, it's if it's a rainy season or it's a bit cold, you can actually choose a time that is a bit warmer. So German Shepherds actually have a dense double coat. So it's very crucial to actually do a thorough. Make sure you thoroughly wet them. You have to wet their fur very well to ensure that actually the shampoo, the soap reaches all the way to the skin so that it actually penetrates from the fur all the way to actually the skin. So when and of course one thing I've discovered is when you're choosing your shampoo for your German Shepherd, you actually need to opt for one that is specifically formulated for that particular coat type. Yeah, like the fur or the coat type. So when you're choosing that, you have to make sure that so that then at the end of the day, what happens, it will maintain their skin's pH balance and gives their fur a healthy, nice shine feel. So that when you look at them, actually they are a bit shiny, and you can actually see they are very healthy, right? You can see Roger is the one who seems to be enjoying this more than Jenny is, right? But actually, they tend to change. Sometimes you will notice Jenny is the one who is actually more comfortable. So always remember sometimes to actually just put in lukewarm water. That like what you have is a bit lukewarm because you can see it is very sunny. So it's not too on the warmer side. It's just lukewarm. Yes, and be careful, especially with the face and the ears, to avoid, especially the shampoo getting into their ears or the eyes. Right? So that you have to be careful. Then you rinse, and you rinse more so that you make sure that there is no residue for the shampoo, because what it does, it actually causes irritation. So you have to actually make sure that you do rinse them properly, right? Then you can see they will shake off so it can be a bit messy. So you actually need to be prepared for them to shake off the excess water, right? We'll of course send the droplets flying everywhere. So here comes the shake off. So be prepared to actually get wet a little. Voila. So we actually have to make sure that they are they are clean. Yes. Then but then their behaviors, you actually need to look at your dog. So the behavior, some of the behaviors you actually need to look out for when you're dealing with a dog is like, for example, the wagging of the tail. You'll notice that, for example, it is predominantly wagging it on the right side. It actually is an indication of positive emotions such as happiness, greetings. While of course, if your dog is actually wagging leftward, it's actually a signal of negative emotions. For example, you actually might be anxious. Like when you're washing it, actually you have to be very keen. That is not a sign of, it will actually tell you it is communicating. Another sign is actually, for example, the stiffness, or when it's actually the tail is actually stiff. It is to tell you, maybe for example, there's tension, or is actually being alert. They just maybe had something, or potentially it's actually it's almost showing like aggression, a bit of defensive behavior, maybe because it's had something. So that's why, for example, it's where the tail is actually likely to be stiff. Then another thing is that sometimes also look at the tail wagging actually as in terms of context, right? The whole body, dog's body language is actually, in any situation, will be able to tell you, could it actually be an issue of anxiety, stress, or good things. So you actually have to look at also the tail wagging very quickly actually is an indication of excitement, like here is food, yay, right? When it's a bit slow, maybe it's a signal of caution or uncertainty, right? Like for example, when you're somebody is new, maybe you're part of the family, but they've not seen you for a minute, for a week or two. What is likely to happen is, by the time you're coming back, there's going to be a bit of they are a bit cautious. You'll actually notice. Then even the height, in terms of the way they wag, they wag the tail, in actual sense, very high tail wag actually suggests confidence and assertiveness, right? While it's on the low, is an indicator of fear, submission, or anxiety, right? So you actually have to be careful. The other thing we also look at is the ears. Um, if the ears are facing forward, it's actually a suggestion of attentiveness or curiosity, while when it flattens its ears, it's actually an indication of submission, aggression, or even fear. Sometimes actually it's fear, so you actually have to be very keen. Then the other body part that communicates a lot is the eyes. You notice that when the eyes are a bit relaxed, soft, it's actually basically typically means that your dog is content. Maybe it's just fed, so it's actually content, right? Well, on the other hand, the eyes are very wide, is actually, and it's actually staring at you, basically indicates alertness, stress, or aggression, right? Then the other part, of course, that communicates a lot with this, really, these two dogs, what I have noticed is the mouth. When the mouth is a bit relaxed, slightly open, is actually and the tongue is a bit loose. Actually, often in most cases, it's when actually they are relaxing, they're in a calm mode, and they are it's their friendly demeanor, right? While on the other hand, when they have bared all their teeth or lips and pull them back, actually is a signal of aggression or discomfort. Actually, if you notice them behaving like that, even around a person, you'd just better hold the dogs. Then the next one is, of course, the posture. A relaxed, loose posture actually suggests basically comfort and confidence. They're maybe in a surrounding that they're very comfortable in. While when they begin to stiffen up, their posture is a bit stiffened up or crouching. That one basically tells you there is a bit of fear and there's going to be aggression. It's likely either going to attack or it's actually ready to actually defend. So you actually have to be very careful. Then, of course, the next one is you have to consider the behavior of the dogs in terms of their surrounding and maybe even the recent experiences. Maybe if there has been an attack in the home or interactions with other people or other animals, or they have faced other animals aggressively, they're actually likely to behave differently from. It's actually a stimuli which will influence how they behave, the dog's behavior around that particular. Basically, what the most important thing is, always remember every dog is unique and they express emotions and behavior. So we actually need to be able to look at the dogs in terms of the individual dogs, because all of them clearly they are unique, and also depends, including what is a dog's behavior in terms of the surrounding. It has to be, you have to consider the context, right? You have to actually consider the recent experiences, interactions, whether with humans or even with other animals. For example, what could, for example, be the triggers or the stimuli for that would actually influence your dog's behavior. So you have to be very keen in that aspect, because you'll notice, for example, some familiar people, there's a way they will actually behave that will tell you in actual sense they maybe are anxious, they are maybe being alert, or they are threatened. So they might there is a way they will actually behave that will tell tell you in actual sense they maybe are anxious, they are maybe being alert, or they are threatened. So they might, are they likely to respond? Are they likely to attack? Are they actually likely to actually be calm around some people? I mean, you have to actually look at the behavior in terms of context, and even with other animals, right? Because you'll hear, for example, like my neighbor recently actually was telling us that their dogs, but he has a Chihuahua dog. He was telling us that the Chihuahua dog actually ended up eating the duck chicken that the person the one taking care of the ducks and the animals actually didn't remember to actually lock them in. They were away for for a day or two. So in actual sense, you can see sometimes you have to really be careful and even know how they behave. Probably they had not been fed, right? By the time the dogs are actually going to attack other animals, it is because, of course, maybe there was something that was going on. So we will actually look at them in terms of individual differences, and maybe the breed, the personality, the way they are bringing, even the way actually you will notice if you have
Exactly.
different people taking care of them, even when there's a change of guard, there's a change. For example, if you employ a new employee to take care of your animals, they actually tend to actually to change even their behavior, because sometimes, yeah, it depends, because you know, our body language, the dog's body language actually would actually include the environment, the emotional state, even the emotional state. So that is how they're actually able to effectively communicate, so that you know their well-being, or whether they are happy or they are sad or they are fearful, or they are not fed, right? So you have to be keen in terms of how your dog is working it out. So, guys, if you've not subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe. Take care of your dogs. We love you guys. Please subscribe. Bye, guys.